Hey everybody, Steve again. Just wanted to fill you in on something crazy I just found out. Turns out that the fight between Daniel Cormier and Jon Jones may have just been a bust. Jon Jones just tested positive for Turinabol, kind of a mild steroid, a little less effective than Debo, but still, a steroid is a steroid is a steroid. So he got busted, and this was from a sample taken just before the weigh-in, which means it's pretty accurate. And I know that I guess they're holding, any reservation right now. They want to double check. They want to see if there's any contamination. But judging by the fact that he's been busted for doping before, I don't think this is. I don't think that's the case. I think he is a legit steroid user. Whether he has a problem with rehab, and I don't mean drug rehab, rehabbing muscles and whatnot, which is why people use steroids, is to bounce back quicker. Athletes use it not because it makes you big and strong, but because after you expend your muscles and beat yourself up and your body's destroyed, you need to recover. And non-anabolic users take a lot longer to recover than anabolic users. People that use steroids do recover quicker. They get on the juice and they're back up and running because their bodies can rehab quicker. I mean, it's prescribed in injury cases and whatnot for that whole purpose. But when you're not injured, you shouldn't be doing it. Yada yada yada. That'd be another story from another time. But in this case, DC is pretty angry. So I just read, he actually said, I quote, it's hard to find words to describe how I'm feeling right now. I'm disappointed to hear the news. It's very emotional. We as athletes are entitled to due process, and I will refrain from saying much more until I know exactly what happened. And that's nice of him because he could have been a real dick and just went ballistic and said, this guy's a bum. I knew he was, taking something. There's no way I would have naturally lost to the guy. And instead he's holding it because that was an emotional fight. Because if you didn't see that fight, go back. You can see a recap of that, highlights, at least the aftermath of the fight. Reader's Digest: DC lost, Jon Jones won, beat him to a pulp. And not really, but I mean, he won. And Jon Jones took the fight. I mean, and afterwards he tried to be a sportsman about it. DC was an emotional wreck. He was crying, he was bugging out, and everybody made fun of him. And you can't blame the guy. His whole life was wrapped up in that fight. So to DC to be vindicated this way, if it's true that Jon Jones was taking Tebow when, before the fight, or just in general, like, if he came out of jail and got all this money invested in him again to get him back in the gym and get him set to do this huge, one of the probably the biggest fight in UFC history, biggest fight in MMA history, and for this dude to do drugs again and to get busted again, what a bum, man. Like, that just sucks. Like, because you're gonna get caught. The anti-doping agencies are so strict now, and they pull so many samples. I mean, they use these guys like pincushions. You're gonna get caught. If not, someone's gonna rat you out because you're probably worth more to get ratted out than you are in just getting caught, because there's a lot of money involved in people investing in the gyms and the workout process, or the training process to get these guys fight ready. That whole build up, they have to market all that. Those are commercials, TV time, airtime, hotels, and the facilities and the food and the rent. They don't have a day job. This is what they do, and there's millions of dollars wrapped up in that. So when someone screws up and sullies the game of fighting with steroids, it's not like baseball. It's not like you're hitting people with a bat, you're hitting a ball with a bat. So we're a little more lenient, even though society goes nuts and whatever. When you look at the grand scheme of it, steroids doesn't change your skill set. It may change your strength and recovery from muscle breakdown, but it doesn't make you a better ball player. But it will make you a stronger fighter. Its whole purpose is to make you stronger, right? Recover faster, build torn tissue, and make you stronger. And in this case, this dude overpowered one of the best fighters of all time in Daniel Cormier. And if he went and he tested positive, that nullifies that fight, that vindicates DC, and we have to do this all over again. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think that ship has sailed. I think that Jon Jones I think that Dana White needs to throw in the towel on this guy. Jon Jones needs to ship off to Bellator like all the rest of the has-beens, and and start that plight, because it's not fair to DC that he went through this to just get shit on by this fucking doper. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't have done it. Like, that's it. Not with the DC fight. I mean, don't do it in general, but with such a fight, let it be pure. Let it just bang. You could have. You could have done without it, you know, and then that's the case. Maybe he's suffering injuries we don't hear about. Maybe there's some underlying issues there that he needs anabolics to even fight, because he's not strong enough without it because of some injury that they didn't talk about and whatnot. And that could be the case, because there's millions upon millions of dollars involved in these fights. So I think we'll find out. I'm sure somebody will say something, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so check it out. I'll put a link below about the story. But DC is pretty pissed off. The MMA world is turned upside down right now. I mean, the comments, Twitter's going bonkers. I don't do Twitter, but I'll click on the link and laugh my head off. And the shit people are coming up with is pretty incredible. So go look for yourself. I'll throw a link down at the bottom in the description, and see what people are saying, and throw in your 2 cents. Leave a comment. What do you think about this whole scenario? Let me know what you think. And do you think there should be a third fight? I don't think so. I think that DC should get the belt back, and we give him one more chance to just fight somebody else, because I think DC's at that point now where he should be retiring. He's proven he's an incredible fighter. He spent all these years at the top and getting to the top, and then holding that. And DC has been, or Jon Jones has been the arch nemesis. That's his kryptonite, and he took him, but he didn't do it naturally. That's not fair. It's not fair to DC. He put in all the hard work. He did a fantastic camp. He fought well. He just couldn't beat this unstoppable, ginormous moving force. So that's that. And yeah, I'm pretty sad to hear that. So I hope those guys can figure it out, and if something else crazy pops up, I'll make another video addressing it. So thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.